Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Donald Trump has been endorsed by the entire House Republican leadership. Every major Republican in the Republican Party has endorsed Donald Trump for president in 24. He's going to defeat everyone, DeSantis, Haley, very easily, probably by 30 to 50 points in Iowa. He will go on to become the GOP nominee and become president again. Hit subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel. I'm trying to do 2 live streams a day. Your super chat is greatly appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be here on this journey with you, God willing, this year and every 4 years from here on out. And your support is so important to me, to my viewers everywhere around the world, in Australia, Nepal, everywhere, the UK, Canada. Thank you so very much. India. I have viewers, thank God, everywhere. And I'm very, very honored that you're watching this channel. He's already won. He's already won the GOP nomination, and it doesn't matter what takes place in terms of convictions, because the convictions will be overturned by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has already given Trump, and federal courts have already been given Trump, major victories. We'll talk about that. Hit subscribe to my super chat. Paul Bartlett in Australia. Thank you so very much. Paul, you are the best. Thank you so much, Paul. To my viewers in Australia, thank you. And New Zealand and everywhere around the world, thank you so much. Obviously in the U.S. as well. Paul Bartlett, thank you. So Trump endorsed by entire House Republican leadership. Tom Emmer completes ex-president's clean sweep of senior GOP members after former presidents sank. Okay, so, you know, you look, the entire Republican House leadership has now endorsed Donald Trump, and that says a lot. It's not that Republicans don't really act like Democrats. Democrats are a political machine, and Republicans are somewhat fractured, even though Trump really runs the political party. Trump runs the Republican Party. We had record low poverty with Trump. And Paul Bartlett, thank you again. We had record highs in household median income. And we had a great foreign policy, much better than what we have now. Okay, much better than what we have now. Trump is the anti-war candidate. And, I mean, for a person of my, ethnic or religious background, Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He did a lot of great things, a lot of very important things. And one thing, what drives me is that he brought Americans home from never-ending military conflict. That's what drives me. And people conflate certain, I'm not going to get too far into it, but the country I had my bar mitzvah in, we'll just leave it at that. There are a lot of people who I respect who actually, they don't really, there are people who are anti-war in terms of sentiment and don't understand that helping one small country in a region of the world where they're the only ally in that region is actually a lot, and it's not endless support like the tens of billions of dollars going to one country in Europe that is actually bringing us, that conflict in Europe has brought us to a nuclear confrontation. Okay? The conflict in the Middle East, there are other sides to the equation, and there are other things that people overlook. And there are, let's just say, a very, I don't want to get too bogged down with, I want to keep things as algorithmically friendly as possible. So I'll just say that he did a lot of great things. I'll just say he did great things for me. as somebody who cares about that country. And he did a lot of great things for the world, Trump. And it's interesting that people blame that country for having, I don't even want to get into it. When we experienced what we did 20 years ago, unfortunately, it's September of 2001, life changed completely. And you have to ask yourself the logic of organizations throughout the world that continually engage in that type of sadistic, barbaric behavior. And then when the greater power or the country with the more powerful military retaliates, then you get the morally superior on the left saying, how dare they retaliate? Never, how dare that group do what they did? And of course, it's more complicated than that. I see the point on the left. I see the left-leaning point because there are civilians involved. But also, if you are a small military organization that deliberately hides among civilians, and you get left-leaning pundits that ignore this and blame only the country defending its citizens, there's a problem with your analysis there. And that happens all throughout the left. And it'd be interesting to see how many left-leaning pundits, some of whom I respect greatly, it would be interesting to see if, God forbid, you could go back in time, how many would say, like a Twitch streamer who was related to one of the top channels on YouTube, that the greater country, let's say, deserved the atrocity. So there's a lot of warped morality lessons being given by pundits who completely ignore the context of what's going on. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get too mired into that discussion. But when you ignore the full picture and you focus only on one political side, ignoring why hostilities started to begin with, you can't simply say, you can't simply say that the country with the greater military was being unjust for years, so therefore they deserve the most barbaric event to take place. Because that is justified. That mentality justifies what happened in our country in 2001. So none of these people would dare, some of them maybe would, I don't know, justify what took place. But there is no justification for deliberately and intentionally going after civilians. Very different from a military organization that deliberately embeds itself within civilian centers. Very, very different, but that's a whole other story. So like I said, Trump did a lot of great things, and black voters, Latino voters, young voters, Jewish Americans like myself, so many people are gravitating towards Trump in 24. I mean, the world needs a strong, independent-minded man or woman. It doesn't have to be a man. It could also be a woman, but we have Trump, who is really the only person who isn't, you want to talk about the words compromised or bought and paid for. He is who he is. I am who I am, says Popeye the Sailor Man. Okay, he is who he is. The man, you get, what you see is what you get with Trump. What you see is what you get with Trump. And I mean, you need somebody who isn't going to just continually kowtow to multinational organizations, media, political parties. He came in completely restructured. Thank you, Paul. Greatly appreciated as always. To my super chat, thank you again. And thank you, Paul, for your kind words. He came in and completely restructured the Republican Party. Completely and utterly restructured the Republican Party. It's now a populist political party. He now has all, as a Daily Caller, he now has all of the House GOP leadership. And there's no stopping him. There's just simply no stopping Trump. He has everyone that he needs going into 24. So he has everybody that he needs in terms of endorsements within his political party. And it really doesn't matter if they convict him 3 times, 2 times. It really doesn't matter. The only hope that a person like Chris Christie had was that Trump would be convicted and the Republicans would say, no, you can't. The Republicans would say, no, you can't. You can't run. You're not eligible to run, which would completely destroy the Republican Party. It would cease to politically exist if that happened. The Bill ABC TV, I think that there will be more liberals voting for Trump. Darlene, thank you. Ellie, thank you. Petey, hello. So it's like, the great thing is that almost everything that's going to take place in November, the groundwork or the foundation for November for Trump winning again, and Trump will win again. When you have John Fetterman, who, I have to say, I like Fetterman's stance on a lot of issues recently. It's interesting too, because the anti-war sentiment that I've always had is never sending American soldiers anywhere in the world at a moment's notice, and I don't want counterinsurgency conflicts, and I don't want Americans to be sent. Biden has already sent 3,000 Americans, probably, I think more, to Europe. Trump would not have done that. Trump would have already pushed for a peace deal. That's the point. I don't think helping one country that experienced one of the most barbaric moments in its history, I don't think helping one country is going against an anti-war sentiment. But there's different viewpoints all over the place. I think Trump's foreign policy was very simple. Negotiate peace and in his way publicize the fact that we could, God forbid, utilize military might. I don't think that was his goal or the end game for any, so he would get into public spats. But the goal, the objective was always with Trump. The Abraham Accords, the first president stepped foot in North Korea, huge accomplishment. Bringing Americans home from Afghanistan, huge accomplishment. And Biden completely botched that because he didn't want to do that. Exactly. So, there are so many things that Trump did that was good. And I wish that he would bring that up. I wish that he would bring that up more often. Let's read this. All right. House Majority Tom Emmer announced Wednesday that he would be endorsing former President Donald Trump for president, making him the 5th member of the GOP leadership to endorse Trump. Okay, they're all endorsing Trump. And by the way, one of the reasons is that everyone sees what's going on. Everyone sees what's going on. Okay? Everyone knows that Trump's going to regain the Oval Office when you have Black, Latino, and young voters. There's no way that Democrats can win without these voters. Thomas O'Connor, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you for always watching and for being here for so long. Thomas O'Connor, thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. I'm telling you, it's an honor and really a privilege to be able to speak to everybody for so many years. And, you know, really since 2016, being here, it's been an honor. And I can't wait for this year. I think that this year is going to be difficult in many respects because I think we'll have a market crash. Thomas O'Connor, thank you so very, very much. As I beg for super chat, I'm letting everybody know that the market will crash. I think that there's going to be a market crash, Thomas and Paul and everybody here. It'll be interesting because Biden flaunts stock market highs, mocks Trump predicting collapse. Yet again, this is going to be, do you understand? Biden is not popular now, but imagine what's going to take place when the market does collapse, and it will collapse, unfortunately. You had Michael Burry, Jeremy Grantham. I mean, these are billionaire, very intelligent, brilliant investors who have called crashes before. Okay, I am, basically nobody. I was a stockbroker 20 years ago, financial advisor, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on. I did write in the Federalist in 21 that Democrats were hurtling us towards a stock market crash. And 2022 was one of the worst years since 2008. Actually, since 1929, one of the worst years ever for the market. 23, the market soared. But see, corporate profits are going to decline. Once corporate profits decline, the valuations of stocks that are overvalued will plummet. This is not rocket science. This is what causes, and then you have the unforeseen, then you have the unforeseen Bitcoin fiasco. Nobody knew what Sam Bankman-Fried was up to. I mean, you have a lot of these unforeseen things that could take place. Nobody knows what the catalyst would be for a market crash. The market crash could take place, and then things could then collapse on their own. You could have hedge funds go under. You had hedge fund debacles in 2021. Logan, hello. Space Debris, hello. It's like there's a lot of Barnes, hello. There are so many scenarios that could take place. Okay. The reality is that interest rates are too high. And when interest rates remain that high, when interest rates remain high and inflation is still an issue, like it is still an issue for food and housing, and then if you have oil prices go to maybe 100 or more, there are so many things that could take place in terms of a market crash, or so many examples of something going wrong. Okay, right now everything everything is going well for the stock market because it's really smoke and mirrors. You have corporate profits that are high. Inflation hasn't seemed to yet um, lessen consumer spending. But then you have all of these companies going under, all of these retail chains going under. So, I mean, you have all of these retail chains going under. Inflation is only uh, lower than it was because interest rates are so high. But then if there's some kind of problem with the market, if there's some kind of problem with the market, they're not going to be able to flood more money in because that'll cause more inflation. So the quantitative easing they can't do anymore. So, I mean, how is the Fed going to address a market collapse? Okay, then you had, I mean, the past year and a half, you had banks go under. There were bank runs. And that happened because interest rates went to two. Then the debt, we have debt, exactly, DVK. So there's so many issues. Nothing Biden did helped the economy. Nothing he did. He ignored inflation, then his administration raised interest rates through the roof. Then inflation subsided, but it didn't really subside for food and rent. And now people can't afford houses because interest rates are too high. They can't buy a house. So it's like people want Trump back. And, you know, I have never seen this. It's pretty amazing. Like, I have never seen this hysteria. Like, we had such mania, this apoplectic, hysterical obsession with Trump for so long. People are tired of it. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares anymore about the whatever Trump said and did, and how he's a bad or mean person. Nobody cares anymore. Actually, the best thing Trump did to tell you the truth, the best thing he did is not get back on Twitter. Nicholas, hello. Hello and happy New Year. Trump to win 2024. Get in there. Exactly. Nicholas, thank you so very, very much. Nicholas, thank you so very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Nicholas Orme, thank you so very, very much. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you, Nicholas. Thank you. To my viewers everywhere around the world, in the UK, everywhere around Ireland, everyone, thank you. Thank you so very much. Happy New Year. I think that Trump will get convicted. It'll be overturned by the Supreme Court, or the convictions will, like, for example, the Justice Department will drop them once he becomes president, like the special counsel conviction. The special counsel, that is part of the executive branch. When he becomes president, that special counsel will be dissolved. In Florida, he's not going to be convicted. In Fulton County, he might, and also in New York, he might. And both of those convictions will be overturned by the Supreme Court because of the boundless definition of that the Supreme Court stated was not enough to convict a politician or anyone really. Nicholas and Thomas and Paul and everybody here, boundless definition. When you're accusing somebody of a boundless definition of crimes, or you are leveling accusations linked to a boundless definition, meaning that Trump performed a speech, therefore people committed crimes, therefore it's his fault. You know. And I think that the shutdown throughout the world Dining to die, everybody here. The shutdowns throughout the world were the greatest economic sin. One of the greatest economic sins of my lifetime. I remember the evening that I found out, in Los Angeles that everything would be closed indefinitely. I couldn't believe it. And what it did to great cities in blue states, it ruined lives. Democrats pushed for shutdowns that ruined people's lives and did nothing to help anyone. The average age of a person who lost their lives from you know what was 73 in California. 73. And then it went down to 60, 67. Do you want to know what the average age of the U.S. labor force is? 41, 42. Logan 05, yes. That's right, Logan 05, that's right. It's when I first started the channel. That's right. Thank you for being here for so long. That's right. But this year we'll have, unfortunately, a stock market crash, recession or possible recession either before or after the stock market crash. Trump getting convicted, those convictions will only help him in the polls. Will get overturned by the Supreme Court because of the boundless definition precedent or ruling in 2016 when they overturned Bob McDonald's conviction. You'll see Biden impeached. They're trying to impeach Mayorkas and DVK, exactly. And what else? I mean, he'll be on every ballot, so be here for the live stream. Definitely be here for the live stream. Be here for the live stream when the Supreme Court overturns the Colorado decision. I don't know, what is the point of deliberately setting yourself up for a colossal defeat and a monumental Trump victory? What is the point of that? To my super chat, thank you again. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. What is the point of that? Can somebody tell me the point of that? What on earth is the point of trying to kick Trump off of a ballot when you know very well it's unconstitutional to do that? Can somebody tell me what? I mean, it would be the equivalent of trying to play one-on-one with Michael Jordan. What is the point? You're going to lose. Why would you do this? Or Kobe Bryant. Why would you do this? Or LeBron. Why would you go ahead and try to play one-on-one? You know that you have no chance. So why would you try to kick Trump off the ballot? It makes no sense. I mean, do you want Trump to have continual political victories? I don't get it. I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. But then again, that's why voters are turning away from the Democratic Party. Democrats have had non-stop competitive advantages. And let me tell you something. 20 years ago, the average the journalists were far more, they were more traditional Republicans. Now they're more liberal to far left Democrats. The younger generation is a lot more conservative. The younger generation of every demographic is far more conservative. Okay, it's not cool if you are 20 years old or 19 years old to look at a 30-year-old screaming and yelling and shrieking because Trump won again. There's nothing cool about that. There's nothing enjoyable. If anything, you're looking at Trump and you're saying, okay, you can dislike him or like him, but at least he's amusing. At least Trump is amusing. At least Trump is amusing. You know, that's why he's losing. I mean, the economy is not good. When interest rates are too high and they're just trying desperately, inflation is still an issue in this country because we have so much debt and so much money has been pumped into the economy. When corporate profits decline, and they will decline rapidly this year, or if they decline, corporate profits can decline, whether they decline rapidly or not. That won't be the only reason that the market will collapse. And I'm hopefully getting published very soon regarding this. It doesn't take Nostradamus. And by the way, Nostradamus didn't predict anything. Okay, he says one thing about like floods, and then oh my God, he pointed it happened. Nostradamus knows everything. Like oh my, like he makes a vague statement hundreds of years ago, and then suddenly he predicted everything. You know, exactly, truly American. Well said. Yes, Colonel Two. Hello. He won't be. There's no way Trump, not for 1 second, will go to jail or prison. Not even for 1 second. Because the indictments are written as if they were written by a Democratic strategist. Okay, Trump did not do the things he's accused of doing. So, he didn't do the things he's accused of doing. He didn't do the things he's accused of doing. And, you know, it's kind of like, oh, and by the way, really quickly, do you know it'll be fashionable to vote for Trump in 2024? Because you're going to have a lot more entertainers and artists and musicians and actors who will break away from the left-leaning cult that controlled American politics or influenced American politics for so long. Do you know that pundits will suddenly say, "I'm just going to vote for Trump"? I'm no longer on the left. It's been years and years since I've been on the left, thank God. But I have a feeling certain pundits will eventually vote for Trump. And it's like, you know what? Better late than never. But all of the people who, it's like, it's 5 years later, and they're finally, like 5 years after I became, you know, like hit pieces were written on me, and like, you know, oh my God, I didn't really care because I don't live my life to be accepted by, it's like, if he's a good president, I care about policy. I care about economic performance. There's a greater poverty rate. The poverty rate is up under Trump, under Biden. End of story. The poverty rate is up under Biden. Well, how is that difficult to understand? If you're on the left and you think that Trump is a menace to humanity, how are you better off with Biden? Furthermore, I don't know if this president, and I'm not trying to be mean, does he understand does he have a vision of anything? Okay? Does he see, does he have a vision of anything? I find it very bizarre that he hasn't even tried to create some kind of peace deal or negotiation with Vladimir. I have it very, very, very bizarre. Not even one with the Kremlin, not even one attempt. I find that very bizarre because you have a terrible stalemate now. And how did that country benefit? Like, how does it serve as a proxy conflict? How does anyone benefit? You have all of NATO and the US for over what? Well, over 2 years now, going on what, a year and a half? How do you benefit? How do you benefit from, like, who benefits with this foreign policy? Nobody does. Nobody does. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it, but that's, you know what? Um Look, people are, I don't want to use the term waking up because that's played out and it's cliche. People are realizing that um they don't like being lectured to all the time. Like, I don't care about these pet peeves that wonderful morally superior liberals have. I don't really care, like, the lecturing. Oh my God. Incidentally, it'll be pretty amazing that night, November of 24. There's no stopping Trump. It's just a matter of how close Democrats get. Really, I mean, I'm kind of like counting my chickens before they hatch, but it's just a matter of time. Donald Trump holds overwhelming lead over DeSantis. You know, DeSantis and Nikki Haley. People who like DeSantis and Nikki Haley think that if only they could have somebody like Trump, but was perhaps better in terms of media, or that media didn't despise. The problem, however, is that media has not, once the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, the Washington Post, and others, once they focus, like with laser focus on a politician, it could be any politician, that politician is almost always done, except if it's like Donald Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz or Rand Paul. Okay, DeSantis has done well. Nikki Haley, I'm not sure that Nikki Haley, who is a traditional Republican, who would have more of a neoconservative foreign policy, I'm not sure that she would withstand the media onslaught. I don't think she would. Okay? I don't think that she would. I'm not sure that she would withstand the media onslaught. And that's something that is pretty phenomenal. He's not perfect. Trump is not perfect. Like, he shouldn't have had that day in January. He shouldn't have had the day. Okay, it made no sense. You know, I mean, the contesting results, fine. That I agree with Trump on that. Democrats did the exact same thing, actually worse. And they cheated Bernie Sanders. But you look and it's like Trump was very naive. You know, when he first got into office, he should never have abandoned Michael Flynn, ever. Had he stuck with Michael Flynn, that entire investigation into Trump would have unraveled. See, when you give an inch with really, really bad people, they take a mile. Nicholas! Actions speak louder than words. That is in Trump's favor. Exactly. Nicholas, exactly. Thank you so very much, Nicholas. And that's the thing. He wanted a wall. He tried to build it. They wouldn't. Even Republicans weren't on board, which they always said that they were on board with that. He wanted peace with North Korea, and he visited North Korea, first president to do so. He wanted some kind of lasting peace in the Middle East. And the Abraham Accords were negotiated by Trump, and that's what happened in October. That's when countries in the region tried to completely destroy the Abraham Accords. That was one of the big reasons for the barbaric events in October in that region of the world. So I mean, Trump did when he said he wants to do something, he does it. He doesn't. He doesn't. He's one of the few politicians that actually does and works to do what he says he's going to do. Nicholas, very well said. I agree with you 100%. The interesting thing about Trump as well is that he doesn't. A person like Nikki Haley, for example, or Chris Christie, would have to. They would have to acquiesce. They would have to acquiesce. So a traditional Republican would have to acquiesce to what party leaders want. They would care about media. Nikki Haley and Chris Christie. Chris Christie is desperate for media attention. I mean, he's about as interested in media attention as he is an all-you-can-eat buffet. He needs media. That's the only reason. If he's viewed as an anti-Trump person, it's the only reason that media would give him the time of day. Nikki Haley is a little bit different. She's more accomplished than Christie, but she's still a traditional Republican. I pray to God he doesn't pick her as vice president. I pray to God he can't have a different Mike Pence. Nicholas, thank you so much. To my super chat, thank you so much, everybody. I can't do these without you. And I'm trying to do 2 a day religiously on this channel, people. Your support is it's just so wonderful. And it's just so wonderful to get to just have my viewers, and I'm building the channel up, as you can see. I took basically 5 months off because I needed to for a bunch of reasons, good reasons, thank God. But yeah, I would love Trump, Vivek. I don't know. It would be interesting. I think, you know what? He just has to pick somebody who isn't going to betray him. That's all. That's all. Just pick somebody that won't betray you. That's all. And you have to pick somebody also that media. It's interesting. Marjorie Taylor Greene is good, but media will obsess over her. And I don't know. She's good, but she's not brilliant. Yeah, Byron Donalds is very good. That would be amazing. I mean, Trump should pick either Byron Donalds or Vivek. Because DeSantis, Nikki Haley, I don't know. That is an interesting discussion. Interesting discussion there, yes. Let me ask everybody here, who do you think would be better? Okay, start a poll. Vivek or let's see. Who do you think, Vivek or DeSantis for VP? Vivek or DeSantis for VP? Gloria, I agree. Yeah, DeSantis really tanked his. I'm very disappointed in, you know, that was a case study. That was a case study. All right, let me do one now with Vivek or Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, hold on one second. With all due respect to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think she would be a good one, but let me get your take on it. Um, Let me get your take on it. So Vivek or Marjorie Taylor Greene for VP? Because, DeSantis DeSantis completely destroyed his campaign. Now, you see, he wasn't going to win. I love Byron Donalds. I want Byron Donalds or Vivek Ramaswamy. TX, hello. Beats by Lee Majors, hello. DeSantis completely destroyed his campaign. Why would you betray the one person who made you popular? Trump made DeSantis. It wasn't the other way around. Trump made DeSantis. DeSantis did some good things in Florida. And then he takes a shot at, when Trump was indicted, Pony Soldier! Freddie Sodium! Yes, Pony Soldier, thank you so much. My goodness, that's every month you're helping this channel out. My God, Pony Soldier, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, give Pony Soldier a lot of love. Saying you're probably right. Saying you have a point there. You have a point. You have a point. But I just fear that Haley would be another Pence. Pony Soldier, thank you so much. Everybody give Pony Soldier a lot of love. He's been gifting people it's every month, $5. So that's a lot. I really appreciate that. Pony Soldier, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Well, we'll do 12 more minutes, everybody. Thank you, Pony Soldier. Greatly appreciate it. But there's really nothing stopping Trump. I mean, look, this month alone, you're going to have Trump winning in a landslide in Iowa. And also you'll have the Supreme Court be here on this channel. Be here on this channel when the Supreme Court overturns an absurd, short-sighted, ludicrous, unconstitutional, petulant decision by Colorado Democrats. TX, thank you. Yeah, sometimes depending on the phone, it's just right next to the chat. There's a dollar icon. Thank you. Love trucks, hello. I just This month is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting month. And it's going to be a very interesting month, very good month for Trump. You'll have the Supreme Court overturning Colorado. Trump will win. He'll win Iowa in resounding fashion. Um, you'll probably have greater talk of impeachment of mashed potato brains. You might even have a couple people drop out. I mean, Haley and DeSantis are basically gone. There is no Republican field. So, Barnes, hello. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting. Kevin, hello. This is going to be a really interesting month. And every month, the lead up to November is going to be more intense and amusing, hilarious, stressful. But don't make it stressful. Don't allow it to be stressful. Watch this channel, and I'll alleviate the stresses. Doing everything I can on these live streams and on the uploads. Also, I have the stock market crash channel and the Bitcoin crash channel, and I'm going to build those as well. So I'm just, every day focusing on this channel. Probably by the end of this month, and the beginning of next month, I'll start with the stock market crash channel, the Bitcoin crash channel. So, thank you, Gloria. Thank you. No, I agree. Singh, I agree with you. Look, Haley would probably be good for Trump to get the victory. The only thing that I worry is that I worry that she could be another Pence in terms of, the next attempt at getting Trump while he's in office. So, but then again, I mean, she worked with Trump. She's probably closer with him but see, then the foreign policy element there, she's far more militant in terms of foreign policy. I don't know. Haley would be a good pick. Yes, I agree. In terms of strategy, not in terms of ideology for me. If Carrie Lake had won, she would be a fantastic pick. I think that Carrie Lake eventually would be a great pick as VP, 4 years from now, but she has to win something, either, Senate or governor. She has to win. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're losing ground with Latino voters, you're losing ground with black voters, you're losing ground with the youth vote, how are you going to, I mean, and then in Pennsylvania, you have Fetterman becoming far more conservative, thank God, on a lot of things. Victory Garden, hello. Norman, hello. I agree. She wouldn't be my first choice at all. But in terms of strategy, could help. It could help Trump. Oh, I agree, but it has to, the victory has to be solidified. The thing is, it'll be interesting, this experiment. It really was an experiment with mashed potato brains, the current president. It really was an experiment, and everybody knows what's going on now. There was a certain amount of Trump fatigue, or maybe hysteria, I should say, not so much fatigue, Twitter was Trump's undoing. So, Twitter was not good for Trump the last year. Twitter was a huge tool of the Democratic Party. They were able to silence voices. They were able to ban people, suspend people, which in turn was like a social credit score. So, Barnes, thank you for being a member. Pony Soldier, thank you again for gifting so many people. Thank you, Pony Soldier. And to the super chat, thank you. Um, you know, I don't think, if he stays on Truth Social, and I tell everyone, I'm telling everybody here, ladies and gentlemen, do not, I say get off social media platforms. Just get off them. I'm talking about message board based platforms. Message board based platforms. Get off all the message board based platforms. YouTube is a modern day VHS. Okay? Except it's on your phone or your computer. But it's video on demand. Norman, hello. It's video on demand, which is what people were talking about in 2000. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Every single day, I want to do uploads before like the first live stream, but it's like every single day, I don't really know what's going to take place in American politics. So I'm like everybody else, I'm waiting, and then we go ahead and, then we talk about it. I think when the Supreme Court overturns the Colorado ruling, that will be such a massive victory for Trump. That live stream on this channel is going to be amazing, people. And that'll be probably this month. DPK, thank you for being here. Everybody here, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. To my super chat, thank you so much. To my viewers in the UK, everywhere, Australia, everybody, Nepal, thank you so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. God bless. To my super chat, thank you. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, people. I will see you tomorrow. We'll have 2 live streams tomorrow, everybody. Thanks so much. Look out also